You're at a farm expecting to see the usual green and red workhorses chugging along the fields. But then out of nowhere, you spot a tractor so bizarre, so rare, that it looks like something from a science fiction movie. Welcome to a world of engineering oddities and forgotten marvels, where tractors defy expectations with their futuristic designs, wild experiments, and sometimes downright weird appearances. From one-of-a-kind prototypes to machines that look like they belong on the moon rather than in the fields, these 10 rare and weird tractors will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about farming machines. Some were ahead of their time, boasting technology decades before the industry caught up. Others were simply too strange to survive, fading into history as quirky relics of innovation gone wild. Whether it is a tractor with legs instead of wheels, a machine built for Arctic farming, or a model so rare that only one still exists, get ready to witness the most unusual and mind-blowing tractors ever built. Number 10, the Muir-Hill 101, launched in 1966, was one of those designs that seemed ahead of its time while also being deeply rooted in practical necessity. With its tall and imposing structure, it was impossible to ignore in the field. It featured an articulated steering system that set it apart from most conventional tractors of the era, a trait borrowed directly from construction and earth-moving machinery, sectors where Muir-Hill already had a solid reputation. Based in the UK, the company was known for building rugged and highly durable equipment, and the 101 was no exception. Although its appearance was unconventional, the 101 quickly earned respect in the agricultural world. Its durability and superior traction made it ideal for heavy-duty work, particularly in muddy or low-traction conditions. The articulated steering gave it a surprisingly tight turning radius for a machine of its size, making it more maneuverable than one might expect at first glance. This was especially useful when working in confined spaces or handling large implements. Number 9, the Bolens Hus-Ski, born in the 1960s, was one of those creations that could only emerge in an environment where necessity outweighed convention. Half tractor, half snowmobile, this peculiar hybrid was designed to tackle the harshest winter conditions, gliding on tracks instead of rolling on conventional wheels. While most standard tractors would get stuck in deep snow or ice, the Hus-Ski simply floated over the terrain, proving that sometimes thinking outside the box, or in this case, outside the wheels, was the best solution. Bolens, already known for manufacturing rugged gardening equipment and small tractors, decided to venture into the winter mobility market with a vehicle that could handle deep snow with ease. The Hus-Ski was powered by a single-cylinder Kohler gasoline engine, producing between 7 and 12 horsepower depending on the model. That may not seem like much by today's standards, but its lightweight frame and track-driven traction made up for the lack of raw power, allowing it to navigate frozen lakes, snowy trails, and even marshy ground in warmer months. Its design was simple but effective. At the front, a directional ski enabled steering, while at the rear, a pair of rubber tracks provided the necessary grip to traverse hostile terrain. This concept resembled early snowmobiles, but unlike them, the Hus-Ski was built more for utility than recreation. It could be equipped with sleds for cargo or small agricultural implements, making it a valuable ally for farmers, loggers, and anyone needing to get around in winter without relying on cleared roads. Number 8, the Minneapolis-Moline UDLX Comfort Tractor, introduced in 1938, was a machine that defied expectations, blending the rugged practicality of a farm tractor with the comfort and styling of an automobile. At a time when most farmers spent long, grueling hours exposed to the elements on open-seat tractors, the UDLX offered an enclosed, weatherproof cab complete with luxuries unheard of in agricultural machinery. Leather seats, a car-style dashboard, a heater, and even a factory-installed radio. It was the tractor for the modern farmer who, after a hard day's work in the fields, could drive it straight into town without ever leaving the cab. Underneath its sleek, streamlined body, the UDLX was built for serious work. It was powered by a 283 cubic inch, 6-cylinder engine producing around 42 horsepower, more than enough for the farming demands of the era. The transmission featured a road-friendly 5-speed gearbox, allowing it to reach speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. an astonishing figure for a tractor at the time. This meant it could function as both a field machine and a road-going vehicle, reducing the need for farmers to own both a tractor and a separate truck for transportation. However, despite its innovation and undeniable charm, the UDLX was not a commercial success. The price tag, over $2,000 in 1938, was prohibitively high, making it more expensive than most standard tractors of the time. Farmers, practical as ever, saw it as an unnecessary extravagance. While the enclosed cab provided unmatched comfort, the idea of a luxury tractor was simply too ahead of its time. As a result, only about 150 units were ever produced, making it one of the rarest and most collectible tractors today. For those lucky enough to own a UDLX today, it's more than just a piece of farm equipment. It's a symbol of an era when manufacturers dared to dream big. Though it never revolutionized the industry, it paved the way for the enclosed, climate-controlled tractor cabs that are now standard in modern farming. Looking back, the Minneapolis-Moline UDLX comfort tractor stands as a fascinating experiment, proof that even in agriculture, there was room for a little luxury. Number 7. The Porsche AP, produced in the 1950s, is proof that the legendary German automaker's engineering prowess extended far beyond sleek sports cars and high-performance engines. While the name Porsche immediately conjures images of curvaceous roadsters tearing down the Autobahn, the company also had a hand in designing agricultural machinery, specifically tractors that combined efficiency with a surprising touch of style. Compact yet robust, the AP-18 was powered by an 822 cubic centimeter single-cylinder air-cooled diesel engine producing around 18 horsepower. Unlike many other tractors of the era, which relied on water cooling, Porsche's decision to use air cooling eliminated the risk of freezing in cold climates and simplified maintenance. This was a hallmark of the brand's tractor lineup, reflecting the same attention to engineering detail found in their automobiles. The AP-18 also featured a smooth-running hydraulic clutch, making gear shifts more precise and reducing operator fatigue, a welcome innovation for farmers who spent long days in the field. Visually, the AP-18 carried a distinctive Porsche touch. While most tractors of the time had a purely utilitarian look, the AP-18 featured sleek, curved bodywork, painted in Porsche's signature red. Though it was designed for practical farm work, there was an undeniable elegance to its form, setting it apart from the more industrial-looking machines of the era. Despite its engineering excellence, the AP-18, like Porsche's entire tractor lineup, never reached the same level of fame as the company's sports cars. The brand's foray into agricultural machinery came to an end in the early 1960s, when German regulations forced the company to discontinue its tractor division. However, the AP-18 remains a cherished collector's item today, with enthusiasts drawn to its combination of Porsche heritage, compact functionality, and unique design. Number 6. The Lanz Bulldog, introduced in 1921, was one of those machines that seemed to embody raw, unfiltered mechanical character. Built by Heinrich Lanz AG in Germany, this tractor was the very definition of simplicity and durability, designed to endure the harshest agricultural conditions with an engine that could run on just about anything that burned: diesel, kerosene, crude oil, and even waste oil. Farmers quickly learned that if they had a barrel of something vaguely flammable, chances were the Bulldog would chug along just fine. At the heart of the Bulldog was its massive single-cylinder, two-stroke hot bulb engine, available in various displacements over the years, with power outputs ranging from 10 to 55 horsepower. This behemoth of an engine operated at a painfully slow RPM, producing a deep, rhythmic thumping noise that became instantly recognizable in the countryside. Starting it, however, was an experience in itself. Rather than a simple key turn, operators had to heat the hot bulb chamber with a blowtorch before giving the massive flywheel a determined spin. It was a process that separated the casual tractor drivers from the truly dedicated. The Bulldog's design was as practical as it was unconventional. Its single-cylinder engine had very few moving parts, making it incredibly easy to repair, and the fact that it could burn low-quality fuels made it a favorite in rural areas where high-grade fuels were scarce or expensive. Its enormous flywheel, often left exposed on the side, gave it a unique appearance and contributed to its legendary torque, allowing it to power through heavy farm work without breaking a sweat. Number 5. The Allis-Chalmers model ED40, introduced in the 1960s, was a curious mix of British refinement and American engineering, a machine that stood apart in both design and functionality. At a time when Allis-Chalmers was better known for its powerful, industrial-looking tractors in the U.S., the ED40 emerged as something quite different, a compact, stylish, and efficient machine designed specifically for the European market. Built in Britain by Allis-Chalmers' UK subsidiary, this tractor carried an unmistakably British flair, from its elegant proportions to its practical, no-nonsense construction. One of its most unusual features was its sideways-mounted engine, a departure from the conventional front-facing designs of the time. This 2.5-liter four-cylinder diesel engine, producing around 37 horsepower, was manufactured by Standard Motor Company, better known for building car engines for Triumph and other British marques. The lateral engine placement helped keep the tractor's profile low, improving stability and allowing for better weight distribution, which proved especially useful in the rolling countryside of the UK. Despite its innovative design, the ED40 never reached mass-market success, largely due to the competitive nature of the European tractor industry at the time. British farmers had plenty of choices, and while the ED40 was a solid performer, it faced stiff competition from brands like Ferguson, Fordson, and David Brown. Number 4. The Massey-Harris GP, introduced in 1930, was a machine that seemed to exist in two worlds at once: part farm tractor, part construction equipment, and entirely ahead of its time. At a glance, it was clear that this was no ordinary tractor. With its articulated frame, which allowed the front and rear halves to pivot separately, it looked more like an experimental prototype than a production model. Yet this innovative design gave it incredible maneuverability, a feature that would later become standard in heavy-duty machinery. Despite its forward-thinking engineering, the Massey-Harris GP was not an overwhelming success. Its unique design, while effective, was unfamiliar to many farmers who were used to more traditional machines. Additionally, the articulation system required more maintenance than a rigid-frame tractor, and in an era when reliability and simplicity were top priorities, this limited its appeal. Only a few hundred were built before production ended, making it one of the rarer models in Massey-Harris history. Today, the GP is a prized collector's item, admired for its bold departure from conventional tractor design. While it may not have revolutionized the industry in its time, it foreshadowed the articulated steering systems that would become commonplace in modern construction and agricultural machinery. Looking back, the Massey-Harris GP was a glimpse into the future. A machine that, though misunderstood in its day, proved that sometimes the best ideas just need a few decades to catch on. Number 3, the Cletrac HG, introduced in the 1940s, was a compact crawler tractor that looked more like a scaled-down military tank than a piece of farm equipment. Designed specifically for tight spaces like vineyards, orchards, and hilly terrain, the HG proved that sometimes smaller was better. While most tractors relied on wheels for traction, the Cletrac HG embraced a full-track system, allowing it to navigate soft soil, steep inclines, and narrow rows with ease, without leaving deep ruts behind. The Cletrac HG wasn't just about brute force, it also featured an innovative controlled differential steering system, allowing the operator to make precise, smooth turns without tearing up the soil. This was a major advantage over traditional crawler tractors, which often required abrupt braking to turn, damaging crops in delicate environments like vineyards. Beyond agriculture, the HG found unexpected uses during World War II, where it was adapted for military service. The U.S. Army used it for tasks like towing small artillery pieces and clearing airstrips, further cementing its reputation as a tough, versatile little machine. Despite its diminutive size, the Cletrac HG left a big legacy. Its design laid the groundwork for modern compact crawlers, and today surviving models are treasured by collectors and enthusiasts. Whether crawling through a vineyard or a military outpost, the HG proved that sometimes the smallest machines could make the biggest impact. Number 2, the John Deere 8020, introduced in the early 1960s, was a bold leap into the future for a company already synonymous with agricultural innovation. As John Deere's first true four-wheel drive tractor, the 8020 wasn't just another workhorse. It was a powerhouse designed for serious fieldwork, capable of handling the toughest jobs with ease. With its imposing stance, massive tires, and an angular cab that looked almost futuristic for its time, the 8020 was unlike anything farmers had seen before. At its heart was a Detroit Diesel 671, a six-cylinder, two-stroke diesel engine producing an impressive 215 horsepower, an astonishing figure for an agricultural machine of the era. Mated to a durable 8-speed transmission, this engine gave the 8020 the strength to pull the heaviest implements through even the most challenging soil conditions. Its full-time four-wheel drive system provided unmatched traction, making it a game-changer for large-scale farming operations that required raw pulling power. The cab, though Spartan by today's standards, was ahead of its time. It offered operators protection from the elements and a better view of their surroundings, hinting at the enclosed, climate-controlled cabs that would later become standard in high-horsepower tractors. Its squared-off design and functional layout made it feel more like an industrial machine than a conventional row crop tractor. Looking back, the John Deere 8020 was a glimpse into the future of farming. Though it may not have been an immediate commercial success, it paved the way for the high-horsepower, four-wheel drive giants that now dominate large-scale agriculture. In many ways, it was ahead of its time, an audacious, forward-thinking machine that proved John Deere wasn't afraid to push the boundaries of what a tractor could be. Number 1. The Lamborghini R 1.55, introduced in the 1960s, is a reminder that before the name became synonymous with high-performance supercars, Lamborghini was a respected manufacturer of agricultural machinery. Ferruccio Lamborghini, the company's founder, started his career building tractors in post-war Italy, and the R 1.55 was one of the early examples of his vision for stylish yet functional farming equipment. While it may not have had the speed of a Miura or the aggressive lines of a Countach, this small yet powerful machine carried the same spirit of precision engineering that would later define the brand. Under the hood, the R 1.55 featured a diesel-powered three-cylinder engine that produced around 39 horsepower. Unlike many of its competitors, Lamborghini's tractors were designed with efficiency and reliability in mind, offering farmers a robust machine capable of handling a variety of agricultural tasks. Its lightweight construction and compact size made it particularly well-suited for vineyards, orchards, and small farms, common landscapes in the Italian countryside. Though designed as a practical workhorse, the R 1.55 still carried a touch of Lamborghini flair. Its sleek bodywork and carefully crafted details set it apart from the more utilitarian-looking tractors of the era. Ferruccio Lamborghini believed that tractors didn't have to be purely functional. They could also be well-designed machines that reflected a certain level of craftsmanship and engineering excellence.